Hello, it's Nikki, and today I'm talking about saying yes and saying no. And the inspiration that I got for this podcast and post was from buying a brand new notebook. And you can have a look on my Instagram at Nikki Raby and see what the notebook looks like. It's basically a beautiful picture of a beach, and then across the front it says yes, 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 yes in bright yellow writing. On my way to a strategy day on Friday, Paperchase lured me in. And although I mainly capture my ideas digitally these days, I do like a notebook to scribble down thoughts and possibilities. And I like to have the option to write without commitment. That's when I get that good stuff. Or to get things wrong, or to create mind maps in my own squiggly handwriting that only I understand. I like the yes reminder of this notebook. But also I love the calming beach scenes. I know I want to live in the city, but I get so much clarity from walking along a beach, plus some mega naps often occur. I am a yes person, but for a long time I was too much of a yes person. If I were to redesign this notebook, I would now repeat the same font on the back, but change to no, no, no. These days, and I never thought that I would say this, I have found a balance of yes and no. So often people comment and say that I do a lot, or they ask me how I do it all. The truth is, I do a lot. And the second truth is, I don't get it right all the time. So let's look at the first bit. So on paper, I have a busy portfolio career, actor, coach, writer, speaker, and podcaster. And I have about 15 different income streams. And for the most part, I am a company of one. I'm a mum of one, soon to be two, and a partner to one. And lots of my work requires me to be on form, to show up, to hold space, to bring creativity and possibility, to get the job done and generate ideas and solutions, and to be of service. All of the above makes me feel really good. I genuinely love what I do, and it doesn't feel arduous. It fills me with energy, and believe me, I have spent so much of my working life doing stuff that doesn't light me up, that I know how it feels when I have it on the flip side. I've spent years clock watching, or hoping for the best, or just not being happy in my situation. About 5 years ago, I made some shifts in my life. I decided I was going to only focus on generating work that made me feel good and on purpose. And this was a big old mindset shift to break. I had so many limiting beliefs. Be grateful for the opportunity, or beggars can't be choosers, you know. I felt like I had to suck it up. I over-delivered and I undercharged. Always, that was my default position. And I reached almost every Friday night just feeling flat, unfulfilled, and I seriously began to doubt whether anything could possibly change. But, of course, that miserable state didn't help anyone, least of all me. So I knew I had to get to work, but I didn't know what to do. This was the thing. I didn't know how to get myself out of this funk. So, here's what I can share. What did I do? Okay, first thing, I got clear. What did success look like to me? How much money did I want to make? Not just how much money did I need to make to get by, but what amount would actually support me to have the lifestyle that I wanted. No. So often people will say, I don't actually need to earn that much money because my husband earns well, or I'm only interested in doing a couple of days per week, or maybe there's not that much money going around. Will anybody actually pay for this? Really check your language in this moment. It doesn't matter in a way if your husband earns well or not. I'm talking about you and your services and how you're putting yourself out there and making sure that you personally are valued for what you do. and also being open to that change. Obviously, back 5 years ago, children were just on my wish list at that point, and so the amount has increased over time. And also, it's important to raise the fact that your boundaries, what's important, your values will shift and change and remold over time, and that's okay. Secondly, I became very curious. I read, I inhaled information. I ditched what didn't work, and I knew I needed business support, but also I realized my mindset was holding me back. I was so limited in my thinking. And actually, if you know me now, you'll be quite surprised at the me 5, 6, 7 years ago, because it was so limited. And I was even a qualified coach by that point. So that just goes to show everything is always a work in progress. I didn't necessarily see opportunities. I didn't realize that I needed to drive things and that there was more than enough space for everybody to do what they needed to do. I've always been proactive, but I lacked that confidence in doing the tasks that were actually going to move the needle. Again, I see this so much with clients. We can easily hide behind the stuff, the social media, the making friends, the networking, but think about the stuff you actually need to do that's going to move you on and accelerate your business. Then I started to say yes in a big way. Firstly, to my own dreams, to those excitable bubbles of ideas that wouldn't float away, the ones that I knew ultimately were meant for me. I said yes to charging, to creating boundaries, to making my work for me. But I also made a big old long no list. This was way more challenging. And if I'm honest, they've taken longer to action, as I felt like I literally had to rewire my brain. Those yeses were so ingrained in who I was. I was so worried about not being a kind person anymore, or moving away from my authentic self, whatever that means. So it took some time to action. But I wanted to share some of the no list with you too. I started to say no to stuff that didn't make me feel good. I'm fortunate to be very intuitive. I understand and trust my gut instinct, and sometimes opportunities can be dressed up. A compelling sales pitch, or you have to take this one opportunity right now, or you only get one shot at this. Not true, my friend. Take your time. The old saying goes, what is meant for you won't pass you by. And that's not to say relax and wait for the perfect time. By no means do that. But what I'm saying is really connect with what it is that you need to move yourself forward. I said no to people I didn't connect with. I love working with lovely people. And we don't have to be the same, but having similar values is game changing. To give you an example, I had a very exciting meeting at the beginning of the year. And it could, and I feel like kicking myself as I'm saying this to you, it could have been really game changing for my career. However, I was so shocked about the way that the person I spoke to spoke about her assistant, that despite all the possibility and potential, I didn't trust the person. I didn't want to work with her. Because all I kept thinking was, how can you be so dismissive of someone that you work so closely with? You're supposed to be a team and have that mutual respect. So it was an instant no. How you do one thing is how you do everything, right? Finally, no to free work or exposure. And sometimes I do bend this rule when I choose, for example, if I want to donate to a charity or work in a particular kind of way, or sometimes I just want to allow myself that possibility of being able to give without any commitment. But generally, I know that I'm too qualified to work for free. It undermines my talents. It doesn't allow me to show up fully and complete the job. Plus, when money isn't exchanged, there is too much of a casual nature. Boundaries are crossed, and the closing feeling is not one of joy, abundance, or respect. it usually just leaves you with that kind of icky feeling. So those are a few of mine. Now over to you. What needs to go on your yes and your no lists? Warning, you may find yourself hesitating at first, but please go with it. Please push yourself to think about those possibilities and play out those scenarios. What would actually happen if you drew a line under something? What would happen if you went into something full-hearted, full-bodied and raring to go? Play around with those future scenarios. Again, if the short term of how do I have that difficult conversation is playing on your mind, really think about the benefits that you're about to reap. Now have a look at some of the offerings that I have in the description box. I have a really great short course about the business of saying no and how you pitch, how you sell, how you close that sale and how you can have that interaction. It's a really great one for setting those boundaries and putting yourself out there. Equally, my Working Smartly course is fantastic at reassessing your business and really looking at how you're working and make sure that you're not having that Friday flat feeling like I described, but you're really showing up and doing the work that you know that you're meant to be. Equally as well, if you're looking at expanding into much more of a personal brand and really looking at the different roles that you can have, how you can pull them together, how you can increase your income, have a look at the personal brand plan as well. As I mentioned, everything is in the description box. Any questions, just email me as always, hello@NikkiRaby. I've got a couple of 15-minute sessions left before I go and have my baby, so do get in touch. And also 1 or 2 strategy days, very few until I reopen in September. So do get in touch, have a look at the website and see if there's a way that I can help you. Have a great day. I hope you got lots from this. Rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again very soon. Bye.